Is Jordan Pickford taking the goal kick?
He played out to Maguire there.
That's into Trent Alexander-Arnold, who actually takes someone on.
He's crossed it into Kane here,
Kane has fallen over again.
but it's led Saka on the right. He's got the ball.
Saka puts the ball in.
And there's Ben Mee arriving at the back post.
Scorpion kick!
Ben Mee has fucking scored.
Ben Mee.
Fanta Lemon's proper like holiday drink.
Imagine a freshly squeezed orange juice, 2 waters, and 1 Diet Coke. I want you to guess the price of it.
15 quid.
£15.
I'm going to say 15.
Yeah. Actually, £14.15, but we'll round it to 15.
The juice, are they charging like a fiver?
£6.
That's mad for a juice.
No, for orange juice. And we're live. We are rolling. Welcome back to the Bottle Job Podcast. My name is Rimedi.
There you go. My name is Toby.
And this is the show where we like to discuss and dissect every single World Cup group from A to H. And today we're doing Group D of the World Cup. We're going to be talking about teams like France, Denmark,
Australia, Tunisia.
Exactly. And on this show, we have a few different mechanics that we like to take you through. We've got 99 Potential, where we describe the story of a kid going from an amateur to a hero at the World Cup.
We've got 20-second potential.
20-second
We've got
potential.
20-second vision, which is where we try and predict the future as best as we possibly can.
And we also have Avit. Sorry.
So most outrageous takes. A bit like that outrageous shout there.
Yeah. I wanted to like get everyone a bit on the...
Wake everyone up.
Yeah, exactly, man. Everyone's a bit tired.
Yeah, with
today,
the
man.
frosting, man. Currently.
Exactly. So, we have to start off with the World Cup champions, or the reigning World Cup champions. We have to speak about La France. La France, aujourd'hui, je veux...
Je joue au foot dans le parc. Avec mes amis. Yeah, a bit of GCC French still knocking him out.
Exactly. On a parlé dans le France, dans l'équipe. C'est ça, so, mon ami. Well, that's my French. Sorry, can I get a round of applause, please, in the end?
Yeah, it was lovely. Get those comments going.
Exactly. All right. So, what do you think about France at this tournament?
They're not going to win it. I've watched enough World Cup to know.
Really?
You don't win it twice.
No, it's true.
Teams have.
It's true.
I think it's Uruguay and Italy have done it, but they don't do it. That's a lie. No one's ever done it. No one ever will do it again. It just seems to always be the case, isn't it? It's the history of the World Cup.
You know, actually, like, they always get knocked out in the group stage. So
Spain and Germany had shockers, didn't they?
it's, Italy as well, if you remember. Who 2006? No, Germany were okay.
But yeah, Brazil did it right in
2002. No.
Germany had a shocker though, 2018.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all these teams that like won the World Cup one year, the next World Cup, they are diabolical.
Foot off the gas.
Are we going to see something similar with France?
There's always something going on with France, isn't there? That's the thing. Like whether it's 2010 World Cup. I mean, even the recent Euros, you had Rabiot's mum kicking off, wasn't it?
But how do you have your mum like talking over the team?
It's embarrassing. What did you say in the changing rooms to your teammates?
Like, sorry, my mum said no. Like, hey, can we go out for dinner? Yeah, my mum said no, we can't go. Like, how do you do that?
It just gets excluded. I reckon when they organise stuff, Rabiot's that guy that like, don't invite him, please.
Bring his mum.
His mum's gonna stop us from going out. But yeah.
But actually, this year France have really suffered with injuries. You have people like Varane, you have people like Pogba, you have people like Kante, and just overall the team. Even the goalkeeper Mike Mignon.
Yeah, I mean that's gutting because Hugo Lloris is terrible.
I think he's diabolical.
I really do. One thing I really hate is the amount of discourse you get about Hugo Lloris. But he won the World Cup. But he was the captain of France. That goal, one of the goals from Croatia, is one of the worst World Cup final goals there's ever been.
Horrible.
First of all, like that was
It was just...
He had to carry us, but he got away with it.
Yeah,
basically.
facts. And like trophy logic for people, like they're good because they won X, Y, and Z. Like, okay, they won it. We can name so many players that are diabolical.
Awful player. I mean, Ross Turnbull was a Champions League winner and a Premier League winner.
There you go, and you have.
He's one of the worst keepers I've ever seen.
Was he that bad?
Oh mate, awful. Like he had the perfect stature to be a keeper. Everything about him suggested he was going to be a really good one, and he was just. I didn't even think he'd dive. He didn't even have paper wrists because I didn't even see him dive for anything. He'd just sort of be off his line like away with the fairies, just sort of watching the ball go over his head.
To be fair, if you're not playing that much, like come in.
Yeah, you come in, get your paycheck,
Yeah.
lift a few medals. There's a picture of him having a cigar after he won the Champions League. I thought, what have
a
you
guy,
done?
man! What a guy! You know, that's
some career. Yeah.
I know. And like speaking about Hugo Lloris, I just think that the way that football's gone, you can't have goalkeepers that are terrible with their feet.
And he's not brave. He's a little puss, in my opinion. He's a bit of a puss, Hugo.
I think Hugo, he's washed. That is the best explanation of it. And having other players in the team where it's like, remember Samuel Umtiti? He was He was
he did great
unbelievable.
2018 World Cup, but he got pushed with that injury, didn't
Exactly, and we're coming up to a stage in the season where people are either going to drop in terms of their club form, or they're gonna try so hard for their clubs and get injured. So like, where's the level now? Because we're 2-3 weeks away from the World Cup.
Yeah, a handful of games.
And it's now we're at a point, if you get injured, you're missing the World Cup. There's no...
Well, we saw Varane, I mean, in tears against Chelsea. That's not even the most major of injuries, but because it is so close, because we're so on the cusp, it is a threat to their, to a defining moment of their careers.
Absolutely. Now, the striker situation in France is something that is absolutely wild, because Benzema is probably the starting striker.
Yeah, but naturally, Ballon d'Or winner currently.
Exactly, but Mbappe plays better with Giroud, which is crazy.
So many players could say that about Giroud, couldn't
No,
they?
exactly.
Yeah,
he's one of those.
He's a wall for a player you can just bounce off of. He's perfect. I mean, it looks like he's gonna overtake Henry as the top scorer in France's history, which is pretty crazy. You wouldn't have said that a few years ago, but I mean, Benz could put a stop to that by continually starting. But Giroud is the glue. I mean, he had a lot of criticism in the World Cup in 2018 when they won it. But as much as he didn't score a goal,
I don't even think.
I don't think he had a shot on target. No, he didn't have a shot on target. But he's the guy. He's what keeps them all together. He's what keeps the team flowing up front. I mean, he is one of the most selfless footballers I can really think of, to be honest. I really like Giroud as a player.
You know what's crazy is that this is Benzema. Like, I can't really remember Benzema too much of the 2010 World Cup.
No, neither.
This is his second World Cup.
I mean, there's a big gap in time where he wasn't part of the team.
Exactly.
There's just a lot of stuff going on with France.
So much going on with France. Like, so many stories. I just don't know what's in the French water.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Who would be like your front line? If you were Didier Deschamps, who would be your front three for France?
I'll tell you what, as much as I've praised Giroud there, how can you not start Benzema? And then you kind of got Mbappe on that left. And on that right, he's had a resurgence of a year. Ousmane Dembélé.
I think Ousmane Dembélé, like, he is the most on his day player I've ever seen. Like, everyone says Pogba, like, fine. Yeah. Pogba still, like, on a general day-to-day basis, Pogba will still give you a consistent level of performances. Ousmane Dembélé...
There's some incredible polarity with his performances.
One day he'll be the absolute best player that you've ever seen. Honestly, the reincarnation of Henry. The second game, he will look like Titus Bramble on the wing.
Yeah, no, literally.
I think Ousmane Dembélé is so good and so bad sometimes. And it's like, how can you have a player? I've never ever seen a player that polarizing. Like, on his day, he'll take you on. He'll put in a good cross, right foot, left foot. He will do whatever that you want him to do in the game. But when he's off it, man, it is bad. It is horrible to watch. Like, you can't get his feet sorted out. He can't control the ball.
Shooting. I've seen somebody's just stuck into outside the new camp. That's a high stadium.
That is a super 99,000 people. I've seen it hit it completely over the stadium. And yeah, Ousmane Dembélé, but he still has to start. He's one of France's
and the form he's in. I think when we talk about on his day moments, I think this season's been the most days he's had in a year. He has been on it really for Barca.
Yes, people actually say that because he recently got married,
right?
And he's saying that his wife has given him
behind every great man.
Yeah, so it's an even better woman. Yeah,
maybe she's a good winger. I don't really know.
Maybe she's like giving him tips. I actually have no idea, but that's what people are saying with Ousmane Dembélé. Like, he got married last Christmas and he hasn't been injured since.
Yeah, because that was a lot of the issue, wasn't it? He obviously had a massive move from Dortmund and nothing ever happened. I kind of blame him for Liverpool winning Champions League in 2019, to be honest. Yeah. I think we all do. Messi did an absolute masterclass that game, and Dembélé right at the end should have wrapped the game up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's players that are ambipedal are always good to watch as well. It's always quite cool. Santi Cazorla for you guys was one of those.
But you know, when someone speaks about Santi Cazorla, it's always the same thing.
It's he can take corners.
But yeah, you also have emerging talent like Christopher Nkunku, who's actually being linked with Chelsea. I think if he goes to Chelsea,
don't go there. Don't go.
Yeah.
From a selfish point of view, come by all means. But if I'm an attacker and Chelsea are looking to sign me at the moment, I'm just going to steer clear.
You guys are like the attack killers. I don't know what happens to Chelsea, but
take their powers away.
But I don't know what happens. Like, maybe Drogba put a curse on the whole stadium.
I don't know.
Speaking of curse,
wow, yeah, we had a lot of.
Speaking of curse, if you guys don't know, there was a crazy situation with Paul Pogba and his brother. Like Toby said, everything happened in France, and when this happened, it was turmoil last month or 2 months ago. Pogba's brother was suggesting that Pogba put a curse on the French team and Mbappe, and some Pogba was saying he wasn't. But as like, I'm a Muslim, and if you believe in that,
Yeah, this is like seriously.
yeah,
against
it's
what he believes in,
seriously
isn't it?
wrong as a Muslim. So I can't really like defend what his brother's saying. But man, it is actually such a crazy story. I think like now his brother's been arrested, or I don't know what happened after that story. And Mbappe came out saying Paul Pogba's my guy. But that situation is even crazier.
Did you see? Actually, interestingly, when that was all coming to light, I saw the performance because supposedly it happened before Man United played PSG, and I watched the Mbappe performance. I was like,
horrible.
Do you know what? Maybe there's some truth to this because this is like Mbappe. It's like Mbappe, a bit like you said, where Ousmane Dembele has that day where he's completely off it. Mbappe had one of these days where he thought, "Is that a footballer playing?"
Oh, I think the food is here. Sorry, I think the drinks are here. So over to you, Jeff.
How you doing, my brother? You good?
Yes, good.
Question: who's the best French footballer of all time?
Best footballer of all time.
French footballer, French.
Actually, I don't like football. I like cricket.
He didn't like football. He was more a cricket man. But we'll get to Australia later, won't we?
Oh, what?
There we go. There we go. There we
What
go,
a
man. There
segue.
you
I
go.
say congratulations. That was amazing. But speaking of Pogba's, like Kante, how do you feel about France's midfield? Because it's not looking big mad thing, yeah?
Not looking good, bruv. Is
It's
it?
not looking good, bruv.
No, but if it happened to anyone else, you'd go, wow, that's their tournament done. And to an extent, you know, it does hamper them massively. But France have so much depth in almost every position. Like we touched on Nkunku there. He won't start. As awesome as he's looked, he won't start. And in that midfield, they've got some Real Madrid excellence, haven't they? They've got Chouameni.
I love Aurelien Tchouameni. Like, if there's a player, because I was in Madrid to watch the Madrid derby in September. Oh my God. I like watching this guy live. It doesn't do him justice. I think he's, honestly, after Rodri, I think he's the best DM in the world. I really believe in Aurelien Tchouameni.
Yeah, I mean, at the
So
age he
good.
is, he's just only getting better and better.
I said he was generational. People tried to like come for me, but I still stand by that.
You know, Chelsea were going for him a year ago. Well, they were looking at him, they were offered him, he was interested in it, and we went, nah, we'll take Saul on loan, please. Yeah, so it could have been very different. But
Exactly.
now he's at Real, absolutely smashing it.
But this leads us on perfectly to the 99 potential.
99 Potential is our version of FIFA Journeys, but, well, good.
The scout section is where we identify young players who've had a rocky road to Qatar, but they will go from kid to GOAT.
So my 99 Potential this week is Camavinga, Eduardo Camavinga for
Could have
France.
picked a better one. Everyone knows about
Everyone
Camavinga.
does know about him, but I just thought because of the opportunity that's presented itself, he's obviously not the most regular player within Real Madrid when you've got Kroos and Modric still there. He will be in the future. He's not quite that stalwart yet. But France, it's presented an opportunity for him with Pogba and Kante being injured. That's your normal pivot. I think him and his Real Madrid teammate will be those guys. And Camavinga, just a bit of a fascinating player because, like you said, everyone knows about him. Everyone knows he's a big talent. He's not someone who's emerging from nothing. But he's someone who came a bit from nothing. You know, he was born in Angola in a refugee camp and moved to France when he was 2 years old. He had quite a tough upbringing. And around 13, his family's house burnt down.
Wow.
And a month or two later was actually when he moved to Rennes from his local club, basically. And he has said in previous interviews like that was a massive thing for him in terms of driving himself to make money for his family, to provide for them. And he ends up enjoying his time at Rennes. Becomes the youngest player they've ever had at 16, making his debut. Then becomes
It
France.
was against PSG as well.
Yeah. And then he becomes France's youngest ever player at 17 and a half, basically, which was a record that it's held for over 100 years. And a month later, has his first start and scores an overhead kick against Ukraine. So some start to his career for France. And then he ends up going to Real Madrid. And last year, like I said, as much as he's not a constant starter within that side, he made such a huge impact on that Champions League win. Without Camavinga changing the games, being the necessary cameos that Ancelotti relied on, they wouldn't have won that Champions League. He completely changed tempos of games against us, against City. Champions League final came on against Liverpool too. He was looks
Against PSG as well.
PSG, yeah, massively against PSG. That was some run, that Champions League run, wasn't it?
You know, there are some players that you call them like Swiss Army knives, and whatever the game needs, you put them on. Real Madrid have a couple, and we'll speak about Uruguay later on in the podcast, or not this
Valverde,
one,
man,
but
yeah.
they've got one in Fede Valverde, and they've also got another one in Camavinga. When you sub on Camavinga, the game state requires what he's good at. Energy, progressing the ball, dribbling past players, can put a tackle in, can take a shot as well. And I think How old is
Yeah,
he
he's a bit
now?
of a jack of all trades, isn't he?
He's
He's 19. I think he's 20 about a week before the World Cup.
Unbelievable
Yeah.
player, and I just feel that more respect needs to be put on his name because I see a lot of people on TikTok disrespect Eduardo Camavinga. I say stop that disrespect because Eduardo Camavinga is better than your Barcelona players. He's better, not Pedri. He's way better than Gavi though.
Oh, I think it's inevitable this guy's going to be one of the top midfielders over the next 10 or so years, isn't it? But
100%.
yeah, so he will be mine because I just think this is his time to shine with those players out.
Okay, my 99 potential, moving swiftly on from France to Denmark. The other team in this group is actually Andreas Skov Olsen. Now, I have not really picked a player throughout this series that you guys kind of know about, but that's why I do my research. So this player, he's playing for Club Brugge right now in Belgium, who are having an unbelievable season in the Champions League. They got out of the group with Porto, Leverkusen, and Atletico Madrid.
Comfortably too.
Comfortably as well, and they should have finished first, but they drew yesterday. But I just feel that Andreas Skov Olsen, if you want a player to compare him to, that you could really say, okay, he plays exactly like him, it's Kulusevski.
Okay, very creative player then.
Creative player, very tall, very wiry, very leggy, but he's a player that has incredible speed. He has a touch that is, I wouldn't say is Kulusevski's level, but he has a touch that he can go inside, go outside, and his finishing, his boy is unbelievable. And the thing is with Denmark right now, their attack isn't really potent with players like Kasper Dolberg,
No.
Yusuf Poulsen, Braithwaite.
But it's their midfield I've noticed it's starting to add to it. Like,
Exactly. And
did you know Philip Billing is Danish?
yeah,
Bagging a lot of goals this season.
exactly. And like, there's another player I forgot. I think his name is. There's a player that plays for Sheffield. No, not Sheffield. Brentford. Sorry,
What, Jensen?
Jensen, and they have another player playing for Brugge, Kasper Nielsen.
Okay.
And if I was to compare him to a player, this Louis' man behind the camera is Thomas Soucek. He's tall, can't really play football.
You
like
can't play
that.
football, just good in the air.
It's good in the air.
Nuisance.
A real nuisance, but he's already scored 5 goals this season for Club Brugge, just getting in the box and just tap-ins and all that kind of stuff. And speaking about Skov Olsen, I think he's another player that could really make his name like Damsgaard did in
in the
last year.
Euros.
Watch out for him. He's going to be a good right winger, coming inside, going outside, left side, right side. Maybe he can play on the inside as well, feeding that striker. So I think Andreas Skov Olsen, he's already got an 11 goal contributions this season in 19 games.
Wow.
Andreas Skov Olsen, remember the name. That
He's going to announce it at the World Cup.
yeah,
Very good.
Yeah, I sounded like, you remember Spencer FC? And
Yeah.
Scott Pollock, remember the name?
No, the only clip I always remember is when he packs Adam Johnson in the Ultimate Team. And he goes, yeah, we got him, but I can't remember what does he exactly say? He goes, that's not good because he touches children.
Yeah,
something
crazy
like that.
But yeah, speaking about Denmark, I think Denmark could do really well in this tournament.
There's a potential shout for them to top that group because you never know with France. Like we said, there's a lot going on. But
On their day.
yeah, but we saw at the Euros how good a team and how solid a team they are. And when I look at those centre backs, I mean, one player who's really stood out to me this season, and I don't often like watching centre backs, he's sometimes a bit dull. Anderson for Palace is not that guy. Anderson for Palace is a fascinating centre back to watch.
You know, like everyone like bases that opinion off the first game against Arsenal because the whole
Partly,
world,
yeah. But
the
even
whole
last
world
season, though,
watched
I
that
saw
game. Yeah,
his-
Joachim
his-
Anderson is very good.
Yeah, I think he had the second highest long passing percentage rate in Europe last season. And Arsenal, he was very impressive.
Yes.
But even in other games, I like what they got going with Palace with the the Gehi and Anderson partnership. I just think it works really well. But how good Anderson is with his passing just makes him. It gives me David Luiz vibes.
Yeah,
not to that
facts.
extent perhaps, but he's a really good player.
And they also have other centre backs like
Christensen.
your boy Christensen.
Yeah, can be a decent player when his tummy doesn't hurt and.
You know that guy, like, this is our mental health awareness part. I think that guy really suffers from anxiety.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because there was a time before a Barcelona game, I think it was against Bayern Munich last week, you could just see that guy coughing up. You could just see
I saw that in the tunnel actually. Yeah, you're
and
right.
I just feel that there's certain players where, look, they might be unbelievable on the ball, but sometimes, like, the occasion might get to them. And
But with us, it completely leads into that. He started when he came from the academy. He started with Conte, and he was excellent for about 3 or 4 months. And if you remember, we played Barcelona, and he gave the ball away for a goal. And from then on, never the same player for about 3-4 years until Tuchel came in. To be honest, and he had a lot of issues. Sarri, I think,
he's the one
Sarri
that
pointed
kinda
out.
said it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said he has an issue with nerves. Like his stomach's affected by that. And last year in the FA Cup final, he pulled out on the day. issues like that. So yeah, it's a weird one with Christensen, because when he's bit on his day,
On
but
his day.
when he is at it, he can be a really good centre back, really good on the ball, very press resistant. But it's whether he's on it or not. That's the question.
Yeah, and they also have other centre backs you could speak about.
Vestergaard, who's 9 foot tall.
Yeah, no, I think he's actually doing horrible for Leicester.
Mate,
Doesn't
when
even
he
start
signed for Leicester, I thought,
What
that's
a
not a
good
bad
move.
signing.
Yeah,
He's done well at Southampton, scores a lot of corners.
Yeah.
But they don't even use him.
And you also have the lifesaver,
Yeah, you have Simon Kier.
Simon Kier. I was just waiting for you to say the name because I completely forgot. Saved Christian Eriksen's life.
Yeah.
He actually got top 30 in the Ballon d'Or for doing that.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone do it for the like.
Well, it would be weird of us to not, allude to the Eriksen incident rather at the Euros, because it was just absolutely shocking.
You know what? When I was watching it, I actually thought he died.
Fully.
Yeah,
I
I
sat
thought-
with a mate and I was like, oh, he has fully died here, especially when the game got called off and everything.
I was watching it with my dad, and my dad. I'm not laughing about that. I'm just laughing at what my dad was saying. Like I was doing something. My dad told me to come upstairs. Like the guy's died. Like
That was a goal or something.
yeah, and I was like, it's all right. Like I was so confused, and then like the game got postponed or called off, and they had to play the game in like the
Yeah.
second half, which is a bit off about it. But man, that actually just shows. Like I know you're wearing your Migos t-shirt right now. Like
that's
your life
sure.
could just get taken away like that, man. You just have to enjoy life and try to do your best. But yeah, Christian Eriksen this season, he's had
Mate, he sat up like the Undertaker and he's not done. he really did, didn't he? He's alive, right? That's okay to say that. But yeah, he did. And, Brentford, he was fantastic, wasn't he, last season? Massive cause for their resurgence. And then Man United, the cross he put in at the weekend for Rashford's goal.
Unreal.
We've got some hammers behind the camera, so they're a bit sad. But it was an unbelievable header.
Yeah,
and it's a great
unreal
cross.
Yeah, and even that, like, even for Spurs as well, Eriksen was that guy that they could depend on for like a really good cross, like a long shot or like a decisive pass. And Eriksen this season for Manchester United has been very good. Like we have to give him his flowers, and I think Eriksen this winter, sorry for the World Cup. I think obviously as the captain of Denmark, the responsibility falls on him, but he has a very good supporting cast as well.
He does, and he has a midfield partner who is actually at Spurs rather than an ex-Spurs, in Højbjerg, who he scored a brilliant goal last night, but I feel like he's scoring a lot of goals this season, isn't he?
I think Pierre Højbjerg, I wanted to get his pronunciation right.
Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge, yeah. He has a very like I always thought of him as like a sitting midfielder.
Mate, I'll be real with you. I thought he was crap. Like when he was at Southampton and Spurs signed him, I thought you can have him.
You know what's crazy? But you know what's crazy? Pep Guardiola saw him as his like Busquets replacement at Bayern.
Well, he was at Bayern, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Which I found again. This was when I saw that at the time. I thought, why was he there? But he's a lot better than I've given him credit for, especially this season. I've noticed. Like I thought he was a bit simple six, make a foul, a bit Gareth Barry sort of thing. Like decent player, but nothing more than that. But he actually progresses the ball really well, and the goals he was scoring, he scored one against us that was good. He scored, was it Everton the other week?
Yeah.
And then last night the Champions League, he scores the winner right.
I think it was an unbelievable goal.
Mate, it was ridiculous.
It was like that was
Look,
the
if Messi
only
scores that. We're on about it for weeks.
It's
It's
true.
one of those ones.
It's like that's the only place he could have put the ball, and he just went straight for it and he scored. And I think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg has like this, like I said with Thomas Souček, and I said with the guy I forgot his name again. He has a very good sniff and a very good smell of when to get into the box and score a goal. And I think the problem is for Denmark, he plays as that sitting midfielder. But they do play with a three at the back
Well,
formation.
they got that Mile on the wing as well.
Joachim Mæhle,
Yeah.
who's another up and coming. I say up and coming. He's 25, but he's a flying fullback, and I thought he was going to go to Chelsea.
So did I. After that Euros, I was like, oh, he looks perfect, and he could play either side if we need him to. He'd be a great rotation option. Our wing backs do get injured, but it makes too much sense for the Chelsea to do that, doesn't it?
So yeah, but like overall, what do you see Denmark doing? Because like they have a very good I think this might be the last World Cup for some players like Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
And other players.
He's had a bit of struggle actually this season, isn't he?
I've never rated him.
I liked him until about 2-3 years ago. I thought he dropped off a bit.
I want you to watch every single goal Leicester conceded last season, and I want you to watch Kasper Schmeichel after the goal was conceded. He's always running up to the ref. I don't for some random reason. The goal is perfectly fine, but he starts running up like, oh, you can't do that. Like he starts moaning, and I'm like, you're the captain of your team, mate. You got to do better.
Yeah, Nice won him out. Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Allegedly
that,
before he gets sued, and I just feel that.
Casper's going to come running up to us now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just feel that this is the last World Cup for some Danish players. So, do you think they could really progress past France and
I think they could win that group.
Because
I'm not saying
bearing
they
in mind,
will.
They did reach the semi-final of the Euros.
Yeah, Yeah, they were better than that Germany side. Like I'm more impressed by the beating Denmark than the Germany result.
Yeah,
Personally,
yeah, true,
from that tournament
true,
anyway. Because and also they had the Ericsson story gave them
Yes.
a different lift. I felt.
true.
You know, there was a lot of power behind Denmark, but we got a dodgy pen, so we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they could win that group. I do think France will win that group, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they won it on goal difference and the Denmark game was a draw. Because I think you said earlier in the Nations League, Denmark beat France very
Denmark
recently.
like whooped France like 2-0. I think another guy called Skov scored.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not related, but yeah, I think Denmark, they've already played France. They've already experienced what it's like to play against France. And France are going to be even weaker without their team because certain players are just not there. So yeah, I think Denmark.
I think they could have a decent tournament.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I'll leave that for the Avid section. I think we need to move on to the other teams now. We have two.
Yeah.
We've spoken about
Two
the
giants of World Cup football.
We have Tunisia and
we
the
got Aussies, mate. The
Socceroos.
Socceroos.
Can you do an Australian accent?
Yeah, mate. I think little bits and pieces.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
That's a low-key sounded Jamaican.
Oh, God, I'm going to get João Cancelo for that one.
Yeah. But yeah, if we speak about Australia quickly.
Look, they got...
Yeah, and that was our section on Australia. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
We have to speak about them properly.
Yeah, they got the shrimp on the Barbie Shelby.
Yeah. Aaron Moy.
Aaron Moy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird way of saying it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to at least spice up because I was looking through these players, mate, and I'm not going to lie, I'm seeing a lot of Scottish League people, and you know what that means.
Yeah, I actually think between them, I think I rate Qatar more than Australia. I think Australia, for me, they're
Qatar beat Australia 1-0.
Yeah, for me, I think Australia are the worst team in the tournament. I really think so. But I say congratulations because their story of qualifying for the World Cup was actually crazy. So they finished third in their qualifying group, and in the Asia setup is different because what you would do is there's two groups in Asia. What you would do is third place will play third place. They face each other, so they face the UAE. They beat them 2-1. I can't believe it. They scored 2 goals.
I don't know who's up front for them. I was looking through.
I think his name is Lecky.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really known in European football like that. So in the so what they do is, I think the 5th place team from South America, they play the 3rd best team from Asia.
Oceania, or is it?
No, it's from
Okay,
Asia.
it's from Asia.
Speaking of that,
And
Asia's a huge continent because you're having Australia play against teams like, I don't know,
like I said, Qatar.
Qatar, and like the distance is it's like a 12-hour flight. But so they played Peru. It went to 0-0, extra time penalties. The goalkeeper was making his debut. Australia's goalkeeper was making his debut, and he went on to save like a couple penalties, and that led Australia to the World Cup. And it was crazy. It was seeds. I can't remember what it was.
So he must be whoever that is. He must be starting ahead of
think his name
Ryan
is
because Ryan's one of the
Redmayne.
few players I actually know from Aussie.
Yeah, Matty Ryan at Arsenal. Like I was in a time at Arsenal where I hated Leno. No offense, I just hated that guy. And I think I was using a hashtag for 6 months. Anyone but Leno. Like I wanted anyone. I would have put.
You were the anti-tie.
Yeah.
You weren't against. You were for Mopai at the time.
Yeah. I was shouting. Yeah, but yeah, Matty Ryan playing for Arsenal because that's what I watched him week in, week out. He played like 4 games. I say he was better than Leno. I was actually saying that to my friends. The guy can actually pass the ball, distribute, win balls in the air, have a couple good saves. But I think he's playing in Denmark, which is crazy.
Right, yeah, because he was at Spain, wasn't he? He was in Spain for a bit.
Playing for Sociedad. And now I think he's playing for Midtjylland.
Okay, so he's getting some info on his World Cup opponents.
Oh, yeah,
Smart guy.
Exactly. But you also have other players. They're actually their best player. I have his name here. Sounds like I didn't do my
It's
research.
got to be Aaron Moy.
Nah, the people were telling me that Australia's best player, his name is Kai Rouse. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He plays for Hearts. And he's a centre back.
Are we going to do this?
Nah, we're going to speak about the Scottish League. No disrespect to the Scottish League.
No, all disrespect.
All disrespect to the Scottish League.
We've watched your best sides in Champions League this season, and the Rangers have now set the record last night for the worst ever Champions League side.
Exactly, but apparently this guy, he's one of the stalwarts of the Australian defence.
Right.
But he actually got injured.
At the heart of it, you could say, couldn't you? There you go. That was great, wasn't it?
That was a horrible job. But yeah, he did a Rooney. He got his metatarsal injured, so he might actually miss the World Cup. But they're saying that he'll be back early November.
The Socceroos are fucked.
Yeah, so I just feel that with him missing the World Cup or missing certain games of the World Cup, Australia are not really going to do much. Like
Bro,
I said,
let's get Tim Cahill, Mark Viduka, Mark Schwarzer,
Harry-
Lucas Neal, Harry Kewell. Let's get them on that plane.
speaking of that, Australia at the 2000 World Cup, they were a problem.
Mate, I always think that Tim Cahill goal, that lives in my head rent free. That was some volley as well. Wasn't it?
Was that the
Was that 2014,
That
that
was
one?
2014.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim Cahill was just an absolute problem because he was like, yeah. But that 2006 World Cup, I just have to mention it quickly. They were robbed against Italy. Did you know? Like,
Yeah.
they had a penalty.
It's had a few sus decisions in that World Cup, to be fair.
But yeah, I just feel that Australia, this tournament, they're not going to do what they did in 2006.
They could do with a 3 yellow game. That sort of thing could do them a favour, couldn't it?
But how do you think Australia are going to do?
Oh, I think they'd be crap, mate.
Yeah.
I think this actually brings me to my Avit section before we touch into Tunisia. Avit! Like Sunday League left backs, no room for nonsense, only Marmite.
These are our podcast's most outrageous takes without trying to be cancelled.
My Avit is that Tunisia have had 2 World Cup wins in their history. Did you know this? No one knows this. They've won in 1978. They waited 40 years to 2018, but like London buses, 2 at once. Not really once. There's 4 years between them, but they're going to win another game and they're going to beat Australia.
So you're saying Australia are going to just finish bottom of the
I
group?
think Australia are crap. I think that, 0 points.
My Avit section is Denmark are going to top the group. I think Denmark are that much better than France, and I just feel that France, with all of their turmoil, they like. Do you remember the Euros? They dropped points to Hungary. Hungary were a problem. Let's tell the truth. But I just think that Denmark, they just have a lot more cohesion in their team than France, because France at the moment, Pogba's
amazing individuals, but that's the problem.
Exactly. Kante's out. Mbappe doesn't really suit playing with Benzema.
You don't know if he's going to do another interview or...
Yeah, is Giroud going to play? Who knows? And I just feel that there's a lot of shenanigans going on with the French team at the moment, and I just feel that it's going to be Denmark's group. That's my Avit section. Is that a controversial take? Let us know down below in the comments.
Yeah, I actually like that. I do like that a lot. I think that's going to be a tough game. I think France will top it, but I think it'll be like goal difference.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Actually, before we actually go on to predictions and stuff, we actually have to touch on Tunisia.
Yeah, so Tunisia, they've got Wabi Kazri, who's legend of the Premier League, absolute legend at Sunderland.
Yeah.
Scored a very good goal against Chelsea once.
I think that's all they got.
They've got Hannibal, who is an aggressive fan.
I think he's
He's last season, Man United fans were in the dumps. Man United had a long year. Things weren't going very well. And they ended up, the highlight of the season was that an angry fan came on for his debut and just started kicking lumps out of people at Anfield. No one knows if he's good at football. I mean, he's done okay at Birmingham on loan.
Everyone was like, he plays for the badge. He knows what it is to be a United fan. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, they're just like, he was just kicking lumps out of people. And
he nearly got sent off. I think he should have been sent off. I think he kicked that many people who should have been sent off. But Hannibal, Tunisia won the Arab Cup last year. I think people forget that. But the Arab Cup last year was like the kickoff or the precursor to the World Cup. And Tunisia, they were actually very good. They were beating teams. They beat Qatar. I think they beat Algeria as well. I just feel that Tunisia are going to be a decent team. What I say is their best team with Dylan Bron as their centre.
Well, they gave England a hard game at the World Cup.
Exactly. And Harry Kane had to poach again and score.
Yeah, sit and head it in.
Oh, yeah.
It was a weird header, I always think.
That was. Were you celebrating that goal?
Yeah.
I can't.
No, I was. Yeah, I was.
No, I remember. I had a.
I expected us to win, so I was almost.
I had an A-level
angry.
maths exam the next day, so I couldn't even celebrate. I was like, oh yeah, back to revision. I couldn't really celebrate too much. Yeah,
the captain is actually playing in Qatar at the moment, so he's got a little bit of knack for the stadiums. He knows the pitch. I guess that's a little bit of an advantage. I think they got enough to beat Australia. But that's not saying much, as you said, worse than the tournament.
Exactly. They struggle with goals. And so that game, Tunisia versus Australia, if you're a betting man or a betting woman or a betting anything.
It could be 8, yeah.
Yeah, I say put money on that to be the worst game of the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. I'd 1-0 Tunisia.
And that leads me straight onto my 20-second vision.
This is the part where we predict a fixture's future with the imagination of De Bruyne and the precision of Heskey.
What will the future hold with 20-second vision?
Right, so why do you think Tunisia-Australia is going to be the worst game of this World Cup?
I think Tunisia-Australia is going to be the worst game of the World Cup because I just feel that there's two teams that do not know how to put the ball in the back of the net. Did you know that Australia against Saudi Arabia, Japan, Iran, so-called the bigger teams in Asia, they only put 1 goal past them, which is absolutely crazy. I just feel that They don't really have a striker, Australia. Tunisia have Wabi Kazri and others. Yeah, man, that's going to be a horrible game.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like a recipe for a stinker, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually got a very good one for you.
All right.
How do you think France are going to do the tournament? Will there be any shenanigans? Can you name them? Your time starts in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, inevitably, there's going to be shenanigans. I mean, Saliba in the change room, that's always a recipe for a disaster over there. I don't know what's going to go on in the change room, but there will be a bit of beef between Giroud and Benzema. Rabiot's mum's going to referee the whole thing. She wants to get involved as per. Giroud's going to knock him out, and then he's going to start ahead of him. You know, Ben's with his Ballon d'Or and his broken wrist. He's got another he's got broken cheekbone from Giroud, but Giroud's going to help them get to the quarters and beat England.
Fair enough. So
Couldn't fit it in that 20-second, but yeah.
not bad. But
Already injured Ben's here. I mean, he's been in the wars.
damn, that's my orange juice. I can't actually have it on camera because it's just gonna spill all over me. So I can't really
Play it safe.
exactly. But yeah, so you just said your prediction. Can you rank the teams from 4 to 1 in this group? What do you think is gonna happen?
I'm kind of inclined to agree with you in terms of the first and second ranking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Socceroos, you're at the bottom.
Right at the bottom.
Third, Tunisia.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I'm gonna say Denmark by 2 goals less than France. That's the only reason I'm gonna go. I think France against those lesser teams will get more goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna go with the Socceroos. Was that bad? Was that bad?
No, it'll pass. It'll
Yeah, it
pass.
sounded Scottish.
It'll
Yeah.
pass. Same thing.
Yeah, we've got my brothers in Tunisia. I'm going to go with France second. I'm going to go with Denmark first. All I'm saying is they played each other recently and Denmark beat them. So I can't really
Proofs
look
in the pudding.
exactly. But if you guys have any predictions, let us know down below in the comments.
Yeah, how do you think France are doing?
Exactly. Well, but this has actually been the Bottle Job podcast. I've been Rimedi.
I've been Toby.
And let us know if you guys like this podcast or want anything added to it, because we will have some guests on. We have a huge one.
Yeah, we've got some big guest loading over here.
Exactly. So you got to turn on the notification bell, leave a like on Spotify so you do not miss a podcast. And that's pretty much it. Take care, guys, and we'll see you on Monday.
In a bit.